Hey everyone, so welcome to my playlist on probability. So today we are going to see probability, definition of a probability as a set function. Okay, what is set function? I will come to it. So that means, so ultimately I'm going to tell you the axiomatic approach to probability. Now, if I'm saying axiomatic approach to probability, one may ask, are there any other approaches? Answer is yes. There is something called as a relative frequency approach to probability. There is something called as a Bayesian approach to probability, but that we won't be looking into it right now. As if now, yeah, axiomatic approach to probability, that means you're doing an experiment, it has finite number of outcomes and each outcome is equally likely to occur. So if I'm tossing a coin, it is either head or tail, so both are equally likely to occur. Okay, so like what is the chances? 1 by 2, 1 by 2. If I am throwing a 6-sided die, what can be the outcome? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6, and each are equally likely to occur. So what are the chances that they will occur? 1 by 6. So that is what axiomatic approach to probability is. Now this does not always work. Like suppose if you have a coin and you want to say whether that is a fair coin or not. Fair coin means what? Equally likely to occur. So how can you say whether a coin is fair or not? For that you need to toss plenty of times. You need to do plenty of experiments, not like 100,000 or 1 lakh or 1 million. You have to do lots of experiments, and based on that you have to conclude. I mean, you can approach, you can say that yeah, this is the approximate probability value about whether the coin is a fair coin or not. So like you can say in relative frequency approach, we deal with kind of infinity case and you need to do lots of experiments. Okay, and that third one is the Bayesian approach. But okay, these two approaches we will keep aside. Currently we will see as the nice things. Nice as in it has finitely many outcomes and each outcome is equally likely to occur. Then this is defined as a set function which satisfies three properties or three axioms. Okay, so that I will state, and then using that definition we are going to prove following 6 properties. Probability of empty set is 0. For this I need third property, so after this we'll prove the third one and then we will prove the second one, and then 4, 5, 6. A dash means A complement, so probability of A complement is 1 minus probability of A. Okay, so first let's start with the definition. So I will tell you the concept of set function, then definition, and then the properties. So what is a set function? So if you have a function from say domain to codomain, and if the domain, here the elements of the domain are sets. Okay, so if the elements of the domains are sets, then such a function is called as a set function. So whenever for a function your input is a set, then such a function is called as a set function. Okay, now in this scenario, now my omega is my sample space and A is a subset of my sample space. We define probability as a function from power set of omega. So if omega has n number of elements, how many elements will the power set will have? What is power set? All possible subsets, right? So power set of omega will have 2 raised to n elements. So here they are the what is this? The subsets of omega. And that's why now you can see that this P is a set function. Why? Because for this P function, what is the input? It's a set. So therefore we call probability as a set function. Okay, and output is greater or equal 0. All real numbers which are greater or equal 0. Actually ultimately we are going to conclude that it's 0 to 1. The range is 0 to 1. But okay, as if now let me keep this real numbers greater or equal 0. Okay, so when I will call this as a probability function, if it satisfies 3 axioms. What are those 3 axioms? Probability of any event A is always greater or equal 0. Second thing, probability of sample space is equal to 1. So sample space, it's an element here. Yes, you take A any subset, then it is greater or equal 0. And if you take AI's, I is going from 1 to infinity. That means, and such that all they are mutually exclusive events. That means what? They are disjoint events. I talked about mutually exclusive in my lecture 1. So if you have countable, that means you can count A1, A2, A3, A4 and so on. Then if such that they are disjoint, mutually disjoint, this is true for all I not equal to j. then probability of this countable union I is going from 1 to infinity is equal to summation of probability of AIs. So like this is true for finite unions as well as the countable unions. So for example, if for this probability of A1 union A2, summation means addition. Probability of A1 plus probability of A2, where A1 and A2 are disjoint. If you have A1 union A2 union A3, so probability of that is probability of A1 plus probability of A2 plus probability of A3. So yeah, so if you have a function that satisfies these three properties, then we call such a function to be a probability function. And what is this function is doing? It is taking a set and it is assigning a real value to that set. Okay, so yeah, so now once we have a definition, we need to prove the following properties. So let's try to prove that the probability of empty set is 0. Well, there are 2-3 proofs, but let me go with the simplest one, simplest I feel. Okay, so let A be any event and let B be the empty set. Okay, then whether A and B disjoint? Yes, because A intersection B is empty. Okay, so what is probability A union B? By third axiom, it is probability of A plus probability of B. But what is B? It is empty. So what is probability of A union empty? It is A only. That is probability of A plus probability of empty. But you can cancel, you subtract P of A from both sides. What you get? 0 is equal to probability of empty set. So that's the one proof. Okay. Let me give you another proof for this as well. So another proof is like, by using the third property for countable union, you take all AIs as empty. All AIs are empty. Then are they mutually exclusive? That is, are they disjoint? Answer is yes, because you take any two AIs, intersection is empty. Okay, so I know that probability of union of AIs, I is from 1 to infinity, is summation probability of I is going from 1 to infinity. Okay, but what is union of AIs? All AIs are empty, so union of AIs is empty. What is this? This is P of empty plus P of empty plus P of empty set is going till infinite. Now my claim is probability of empty set should be 0. Why so? Because if it is non-zero, suppose probability of empty set is some number A, this is a non-zero number, then this will be A, and what you're doing here, A plus A plus A plus, and if you add a number infinitely many times, same number infinitely many times, what is the sum? It's infinite, right? So therefore your A, for this to have equality, your A has to be 0, because if it is non-zero, here you are having a finite number and here you are having an infinite number, so you can't have equality. So to have equality, your A has to be 0. That means probability of empty set is 0. So this is another proof. You can go whichever proof you like. Okay, now let's go for the second one. So to prove this one, I'm again going to use the third axiom as well as the first axiom. Okay, so what I'm doing is, I will do a smart trick. We will write your set B as union of two disjoint sets, and as soon as I have union of two disjoint sets, I know that probability splits while addition comes in, right? So I will write B as A. So this is B is A union this part. What is that part? It is B intersection with outside A, means A complement, right? So it is A union this part. What is this part? It is outside A but it is inside B, so B intersection A complement. Okay, so what is my probability of B? It is probability of A union this, B intersection A complement, but they are disjoint. So by third property, it is probability of A plus probability of B intersection A complement. But this is an event, right? And probability of any event by first axiom, it is always greater or equal 0. So this is what greater or equal P of A plus 0. This is greater or equal 0. So what I'm getting is probability of B is greater or equal probability of A. So if A is a subset of B, then probability of A is always less equal probability of B. Okay, so we are using first and third axiom to prove this thing. And now once we have this thing, the third property is very easy to prove. Okay, what was the next one? That probability of any event is less equal 1. But that's not obvious. Why? Because you take any event. What is an event? It is a subset of sample space. So by this second property, my probability of A is less equal probability of sample space. But what is probability of sample space? By second axiom, it is nothing but 1. So what I get? Probability of A is always less equal 1. And we know that probability of any event is always greater equal 0. So thus, if you take any event, the probability always lies from 0 to 1. Okay, so that's why you can say that probability is a function from power set of sample space to close interval 0, 1. If the output is closer to 0, the chances are very less likely to occur. If the outcome is near to 1, the chances of that outcome increases. So yeah, so the domain is this, and the range is interval 0, 1, close interval. Okay, cool. Now let's go for the fourth one. So if A is any event, then we need to prove probability of A complement is 1 minus probability of A. Now this is also very easy, because I know that what is A union A complement? It is the complete sample space. So, and whether A and A complement disjoint? Yes, because they don't have anything common. What is A complement? Those elements which are outside A. So obviously they don't have anything common. So probability of A union A complement is probability of omega. As they are disjoint, so by third property, this is probability of A plus probability of A complement, and by second axiom, this is 1. And we are done. What is probability of A complement? 1 minus probability of A. Right? So that was simple, right? Okay, good. Now let's go for the fifth property, for the union. So what does the fifth property says? It says that probability of A union B is probability of A plus probability of B minus probability of A intersection B. So now what you do is you draw this Venn diagram. It's easy to understand using Venn diagram. So these are my two sets or two events A and B, and let me call this part as say 1, this intersection as 2, and this part as 3. Okay, so what is the probability of, so you can see what is your A union B? A union B is my set 1 union set 2 union set 3. If you don't like this Roman numerals, you can call C, D and E. Okay, then A union B is C union D union E. This also you can do, not an issue. Now, so if they are equal, what is probability of A union B? It is probability of first one plus probability of second plus probability of third by third axiom, because they are disjoint, mutually disjoint or mutually exclusive. Okay, but now what is probability of A? Because on the right hand side I want A, B and intersection, so I should write them in terms of A, B and intersection. Okay, so what is probability of A? So it is probability of 1 union 2. Okay, and they are disjoint, so this is probability of 1 plus probability of 2. Similarly, what is probability of B? It is, what is my B? It is 2 union 3. So it is equal to probability of 2 plus probability of 3. Now from here, what is your probability 1 plus probability of 2? It is probability of A. So this becomes what? First 2 is nothing but probability of A. What is probability of 3? It is probability of B minus probability of 2. So it is probability of B minus probability of 2. But what is my 2? It is the common part. My 2 is nothing but is the intersection. So this is probability of A plus probability of B minus probability A intersection B, and that's what we wanted to prove. So this is one of the very important identity, addition rule. Sometimes it is called as addition rule, and we are going to use it a lot. Okay, so I hope the proof is clear. So here is the last one. Probability of any event is equal to probability of intersection with B, where B is also any event, and its intersection with B complement. So you take any event A, And if you want to find this probability, you take any event B, which is very easy or whose probability, it's a good set. Then what you do, you find A intersection B and A intersection B complement. You find their probabilities, you add, you get the probability of A. Because many times probability of A is not known to you, but you might be knowing this and this probability. You simply add it up. Okay, or you try to choose a set B so that you can find these two probabilities, and once you have these two, you simply add, you get the probability of A. So that's why this is also very important and very useful. Okay, now again the same trick, we have to use the third axiom. So what I will do is I will write A very nicely. So it is what? This 1 union 2, the notation which I used earlier. But what is my 2? It is nothing but A intersection B union. What is this? This part is in A, but it is not in B. So B is this part, right? So this is in A, but not in B. So A intersection B complement. This is also the notation people use, either dash or complement. Now they are disjoint unions. So by third axiom, what is probability of A? It is probability of A intersection B plus probability of A intersection B complement. And that's what we wanted to prove. So yeah, these are the 6 properties that you are going to use very much frequently. That's why I proved them. If there are some other properties in which you are facing difficulties, then you can ask me in the comment section. We can discuss over there. And if this is clear, then do not forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you.